Good afternoon and welcome to All About Animals. I'm Sherry Graditor and I'm sitting here with Sandy Wisniewski, who we spoke with last time at the food pantry in Grays Lake. But today we have a different topic, and this is through Animal Education and Rescue, of whom Sandy is founder, president, and otherwise general factotum. Okay? And we're going to talk about rabbits as pets and spend a little time on the reason that so many rabbits are abandoned or not kept. They're great pets. Yes?
For the right people. Mm-hmm. Rabbits, the pluses are that you don't have to walk them. They can be contained. Mm-hmm. They can be very loving and very sweet to their owners. So there's a lot of positives. They're very pretty, very soft.
They can be house trained.
They can be house trained. Mm-hmm. This is Reggie, and we'll show you Reggie in just a little while. But also, rabbits can be messy. Mm-hmm. They are expensive to take care of. They're not cheap. And you really have to clean up after them every single day. And being not cheap, meaning that the feed is expensive, the bedding is expensive, and you should spay or neuter them as well. And if you have other household animals, you need to introduce them to the rabbit slowly.
Very carefully.
Very carefully and slowly.
As during the taping of this, you will hear my dog, who is very, very upset about this creature that is not a dog or a cat and is in her house. And she does not know what to make of it, and she's totally bewildered and crying. And she would just like to get her mouth on that rabbit. I don't think she'd hurt him, but she would like to taste him and make sure that he's not lunch.
And speaking of, rabbits can actually live very well with other animals, with cats, with dogs, believe it or not, but it really has to be done.
Excuse me a minute. Shuri, come here. Come here, sweet girl. Come here. Sit down. Shut up. These are mama commands.
It has to be done very slowly. For example, once the rabbit and, let's say, the dog are starting to not bark and not get upset with each other, then you slowly reinforce good behavior for the dog. And when you leave the house, of course, they have to be separated.
Absolutely. Shuri, no.
Should I show you some of the food we have here?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, let's go on to other things.
Okay.
Food is one of them.
Right.
Litter is one of them.
Right.
And vet care is one of them.
Correct.
And these are all things we need to talk about. And I need to, Shuri, stop it. If you can see her, she's in reverse gear walking backwards so that she doesn't take her eyes off that rabbit.
Yes. Well, maybe we can kind of try to ignore the barking.
We can.
We'll try. We'll try, as long as everybody else will try to ignore the barking.
Please ignore the barking.
Please do. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about spaying or neutering, which I think is really, really important.
Yes.
And we're going to tie into that later.
Absolutely.
Spaying and neutering your rabbit is really important, especially with a male rabbit, because as they mature, if you get a baby male rabbit, oftentimes, if you don't neuter them, they will end up spraying in your house, which is really gross, smelly, and they do spray up onto the walls and so forth.
Oh, gee.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So neutering a male is important. Spaying a female is important because, well, first of all, if you have a male and a female, we don't want to reproduce. We'll talk about that why later. But also for some of the cancers that rabbits can get, male or female can get, we don't want to have them get any cancers as they age. So spaying and neutering is important, but keep in mind that not all veterinarians actually will spay or neuter a rabbit. You have to go to certain vets, and because the female rabbit, it's more intricate, the surgery, not all vets will do females, but they'll do male rabbits because it's an easier surgery. So you really have to find out, and it's not cheap. It could essentially, for a female rabbit, cost probably double of what maybe a dog or a cat spay would be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's not cheap, but very necessary, I think, if you have a male or a female rabbit.
And vet care all the way through has to be somebody who deals with rabbits as well. Your dog or cat veterinarian is not going to take care of your rabbit.
Not necessarily. There are vets in the area that do, and I would recommend that people get a recommendation for a good quality vet that will work with rabbits. They don't need yearly shots, so that's good. But keep in mind too that if a rabbit gets sick, and oftentimes it's an intestinal sickness, they get blocked up, that's probably the most common thing, or teeth issues, is that taking to the vet once can be very expensive. Surgery might be something that has to happen if they get stopped up, things like that. So while you don't have the yearly shot vaccines and so forth, but you do have expenses if they get sick.
Emergency care.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, no question about it. And additionally, you may have to travel to find a vet who will take care of your rabbit. And I don't know, I think that people really need to be educated in recognizing the signs of illness in a rabbit, because I know they get sick really fast.
They do, and it can be subtle. So the thing I say is prevention is the most important thing, is making sure that you're feeding your rabbit properly and that you are making sure that they get the supplements they need in order to not get blocked up and to have healthy teeth, a healthy coat. You could see the rabbit right now is grooming himself. Oh, he's grooming himself, which is something rabbits do, so you don't need to groom them at all. And so it's really important. Nutrition is the most important thing. Now he's nice and relaxed.
Yeah, he's ignoring all the noise, so let's talk about nutrition.
Okay, so one of the most important things for a rabbit is that they have Timothy hay. This is Timothy hay right here. Timothy hay can be bought at any feed store or any pet store. Feed stores, it's going to be less expensive. And so I would suggest that you feed the Timothy hay at least twice a day, or about double or triple of this for this size rabbit.
Okay.
Okay? Lettuce, they need dark green leaves every day, about 4 times this amount every day for a rabbit. This is pellets, rabbit pellets, and they have that every day, about this much or maybe double this much for a rabbit this size, every single day.
So they're big eaters.
They're big eaters. And the big thing that people make the mistake about is carrots, thinking that carrots is something that you should give your rabbit a lot of. Actually, carrots are like cookies for people, is we only want to give them a few.
And they make them fat.
And it's high in sugar.
Yes.
Also papaya. Enzyme, papaya tablets, they can chew those up. You can get them at the health food store. That helps for them to digest their food so they don't get stopped up as well.
Okay, here's what I want to talk about for a second. We have this rabbit in a small traveling cage.
Correct.
People think they can get a rabbit, take it home, and put it in a cage this size, and it will live in that cage.
That's inhumane.
Oh, that's what I wanted you to say.
Yeah, it's absolutely inhumane. A rabbit needs, this traveling cage is just for traveling or for sleeping at night. A rabbit should have at least, at the bare minimum, a playpen, or a play yard or whatever you call that. They can hop around in. Rabbit-proof for your house, because they will chew wires. You don't want them to chew wires. And they need to have exercise each and every day.
And they need interaction with people if you want them to be pets.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just put them in a cage somewhere and say, oh, here's my pet rabbit, and expect that rabbit to learn to love you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And water, by the way.
Constantly.
Constantly. They drink a lot of water.
And we're moving along because I think we've only got 3 or 4 minutes left. So we wanted to talk about the importance, you said, of spay-neuter. What else? I'm trying to think of what else you said we wanted to get to.
Well, we want to talk about the overpopulation problem.
Absolutely.
And the reason for spay and neuter. We don't want our rabbits breeding. They are very difficult to find homes for. People, by and large, do not want a rabbit. Rabbits are not a popular pet, unfortunately for them. There are so many homeless rabbits. I encourage people to do their homework before they get a rabbit. Realize that it's an expense, and it's a monthly expense. And if they do get a rabbit, that they go to a rescue that actually specializes in rabbit rescue.
And can educate them in how they have to take care of said rabbit.
Absolutely. There is an organization called No Splitting Hairs in Algonquin, and they specialize just in rabbits, and they adopt out rabbits directly from their facility. And the woman that runs it has a lot of knowledge and can help somebody set their house up properly for a rabbit.
And occasionally your organization too has rabbits that need homes.
We do, we do. Actually, Reggie's available for adoption.
Yeah, and that's what's so terribly sad about, we've seen it with horses, we've seen it with dogs, we've seen it with cats, we've seen it with rabbits, we've seen it with almost any, iguanas, we've seen it too. There are more animals than there are homes. And there are poorly educated people who think this would be the ideal pet and have no idea what they're getting into. You want to say it, or should I say it, Sandy? Educate yourself. Be sure it's what you want. Speak to an expert who can tell you exactly what your responsibilities will be. Understand that no matter what kind of an animal you're taking into your life, and bunnies are a big issue here, they need time, they need affection, they need attention, they need training, and they need love. And they're not decorations to sit in cages until you get sick and tired of the mess and give them away. And litter, by the way, you need special litter too, don't you?
You do, you do. Special litter specifically for rabbits. And one other quick thing I want to mention is if you don't want your rabbit anymore, don't set it free. You will kill your rabbit by doing it. Give the rabbit to a humane society that will accept it.
And there are humanes, including Sandy, who will do that. Mm-hmm. And yes, this is not the same genus of rabbit that you see in the woods. Mm-hmm. It is in no way able to survive in the woods. If it doesn't become coyote bait, it will starve to death. It will die horribly and in pain. You can avoid that. Anything we've missed?
I think that's it.
Sandy, thank you so much. The organization is Animal Rescue and Education. How can they reach you?
You're close. Animal Education and Rescue.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. And our phone number is 847-816-0831, or our website is aear.org.
And it's a great website. It's fascinating. We're going to take you now to Save a Pet and show you some of the dogs and cats they've got there for adoption.